What's going on, Bengals fans? Chris Daughtery here with Bengals Breakdown. We've got an update on the Trey Hendrickson situation, and it seems like the trade rumors are indeed back. Don't think, honestly, anything is probably going to come of it, but the trade rumors are out there, so we're doing a little at-home video for you guys today. So make sure you are subscribed. Apologies for not having any of the graphics or anything like that, but I'm going to try to add some of the tweets somewhere in here in post-prod for you guys as well, so you can see some of the updates that I'm going to be reading off for you guys as well. But help me out. Stay up to date on all things Bengals news, whether we're in the office or at home. We're going to put it out for you guys, so do not miss out. Hit that sub button. Join the community right here at Bengals Breakdown. We're also going to be live for the next preseason game tomorrow night versus the Commanders, so you guys can come party with us during our watch party as well. All right, so it all started just a little while ago. Ian Rapoport putting some reports out there, and then Jordan Schultz joining fold there, and then Paul Dehner Jr. also putting out what he knows about this Trey Hendrickson update here. Ian Rapoport saying that the Bengals have come to an impasse with the contract talks with Trey Hendrickson right now, and they are listening to trade offers, adding that the Bengals have done their due diligence, but timing is now of the essence as the preseason is now coming to an end. This will be a very expensive trade package for Trey Hendrickson if one does go down, likely with a young player and a future pick if possible. I think that is an absolute must. If you are trading Trey Hendrickson right now before the season, you have to get an impact player on the defensive side of the ball, whether that's somebody specifically to replace Trey Hendrickson or somebody to help out that secondary as well, because that has been a big, spot of need, an area of need for the Bengals, whether that's some of those young guys stepping up and playing better or adding somebody. Justin Simmons is another guy out there as well that I know a lot of Bengals fans would love to add in the secondary, but that would obviously be, from free agency. In my opinion, the Bengals, if they were going to have traded Trey Hendrickson, they should have done it back before the NFL draft. I think you could have got a lot more in draft capital for him, and you could have, bolstered up, multiple spots in the first round to help your defense and maybe even spots like your offensive line right now. I know everybody likes in what they've seen and heard about Dylan Fairchild during Bengals training camp, but you probably could have got somebody else because Lucas Patrick over there on the other side has, not had a very good training camp here. So, it sounds like the Bengals are at least listening to trade offers for Trey Hendrickson right now, and we'll see if anything actually comes of that here. I would assume they would have to, if one goes down, it would at least be in the next 2 weeks at the end of the day, right? Because the season starts at some point, right? So let me know what you guys think. Will the Bengals trade Trey Hendrickson? Get down there to the pinned comment of today's video and let me know what you guys think. Type Y for yes or N for no. Will the Bengals actually end up trading Trey Hendrickson? Now, so the next aspect of this, if Trey Hendrickson were to be moved, who are some of these teams that have been, interested in trading for Trey Hendrickson? Jordan Schultz putting out there that the Panthers, the Browns, and the Colts are among teams who have been interested in Trey Hendrickson. Whether or not they've actually thrown out, offers for Trey Hendrickson, he did not say that here, but they are just, putting out feelers for Trey Hendrickson, it seems like. Now, the three teams, the Panthers, the Browns, and the Colts, I see no world where the Bengals trade their best player on the defensive side of the ball to an in-division, in-state rival in the Browns. That just doesn't really make any sense to me. The Panthers and the Colts, what would they be willing to give up for Trey Hendrickson? That's a whole nother story. I think that one maybe makes a little bit more sense, but the Browns definitely are not a team that I just don't see the Bengals trading Trey Hendrickson to the Browns. That one makes no sense to me. Paul Dehner Jr. also putting what he knows out there, saying what he knows about the Trey Hendrickson situation. It hasn't changed. So it's almost like this has kind of been happening for a while, and the Bengals have been listening to these trade offers, but nobody's really reported it until right now here on a Sunday afternoon, just one day before the Bengals take the field in their second preseason game. Paul Dehner Jr. also saying this isn't the Bengals casting out a line to drum up interest. They have always listened The asking price continues to be very significant. It is highly unlikely that a team would pay it, and also just pay Trey Hendrickson at the end of the day. I know that's what a lot of Bengals fans really want to happen for the Bengals, just to give, Trey Hendrickson what he wants. Because in my opinion, I don't think he's asking for the entire world, right? He's just asking for 3 years guaranteed. But on the flip side, he's not asking to be the highest paid non-quarterback. He's not asking to be the highest paid defensive end in the National Football League. He's just asking to kind of be up there in the top 5, considering right now in his career, he is the best defensive end in the National Football League, in my opinion. He's been the sack leader for the past 2 seasons. I think he's better right now in his career than Myles Garrett, than Micah Parsons, the 2 guys who are on the top of the food chain right now when it comes to that defensive end spot. And he doesn't even want to be paid like them. Like, I think he understands that, hey, I am north of 30. He's 30 years old at this point. And, once players get over 30, especially at that defensive end spot, they still might have 1, 2, 3, 4 years left, which would be good and fine for the Bengals and Trey Hendrickson to have that 3 years guaranteed. But that's kind of that iffy spot where it sometimes goes down, and the Bengals, from their perspective, don't want to take that chance of giving Trey Hendrickson 3 years of guaranteed money, and then in years 2 or 3, that's when he kind of hits his cliff and starts going off the cliff. Now, from the Bengals' perspective as well, Trey Hendrickson is signed to a deal right now. He's going into year 3 of a 4-year contract with the Bengals, and he's making $18 million right now. But to us, obviously, that seems like a lot of money. But to him, when Myles Garrett is making, $35 million a year right now, he's making half of what Myles Garrett is making, and he's the NFL sack leader right now. Past 2 seasons, 17.5 sacks. I mean, it's not like he's asking for, a 5-year contract with 3 years guaranteed. He just wants 3 years guaranteed at the end of the day. And I think, the Bengals should pay that. I think Trey Hendrickson being out there helps the Bengals in every single kind of way when it comes to pass rush. There's an argument, maybe he's not the best run defender in the NFL, but Trey Hendrickson definitely the best pass rusher right now in the NFL, and the Bengals desperately need him out there on the field for week 1 of this 2025 NFL season. So let me know down in the comments section if the Bengals were to trade Trey Hendrickson, and the stipulation is they have to get a first-round pick in return for him as well. What player would you want the Bengals to get in return for Trey Hendrickson and a first-round pick? Because I think if you're going to trade Trey Hendrickson, it has to be at least for a first-round pick and, maybe even a second first-round pick, depending on what, quality of player. But let me know what player down in the comments section you would like in return for Trey Hendrickson. So when it comes to what player that you would want in return for Trey Hendrickson, I just want to talk about some of those position groups that the Bengals definitely need to address before, the first game of the season. That safety spot has been an issue. I think worse than the safety spot has really been those cornerbacks. I know we haven't seen a lot of, Cam Taylor-Britt hasn't even played yet. Tomorrow's going to be his first preseason game, so maybe he's taken a little bit of a step up. But I think that secondary is definitely a spot, whether that's safety or corner. They definitely need to add somebody, or, hopefully some of those guys just continue to improve. But I think you need to add a body there, a veteran body probably, or a young superstar as well. Now, maybe you also want to trade for, an offensive guard as well. I know everybody likes what they've seen and what they've heard out of Dylan Fairchild, so far in, rookie mini camp and then Bengals training camp as well. But man, the other side, Lucas Patrick at that right guard spot has just not looked very good from, all the videos that I've seen. The first Bengals preseason game this past week, he was getting thrown around like, a kid getting his lunch money stolen. So maybe you also want to go out there and bolster up your offensive line to protect Joe Burrow as well. I think that's a quality option, but I still kind of revert back to, I think they need to help their defense out, especially if you're going to lose Trey Hendrickson. Maybe, you don't necessarily get somebody in return for Trey Hendrickson. Maybe that's Joseph Asai or Myles Murphy that fills that role. But I mean, that's not going to feel what Trey Hendrickson was able to give the Bengals, at least for the past 2 seasons anyways. So, yeah, a whole lot of stuff on Trey Hendrickson right now. The trade rumors are swirling again. So we're going to continue to keep you guys updated on this, whether or not the Bengals pay him or trade him. We will put out a video for you guys, so do not miss out. Make sure you guys are subscribed right here to Bengals Breakdown by Chat Sports.